I'm your Vice Chair, Eric Hain, and the SBE notes for now are that there is a new certification level that has come out, which is certified production technologist. I think. Did you get that one?
Devin, did you get certified production technology?
Certified
Yeah, I
production?
got CEA.
Yeah, okay. It's been out there for a little while, and I'm starting to see people pick it up. We did have 2 people pass their exams. Devin passed his exam, and William took the digital radio and passed it. If you want to get certified at the NAB, you need to apply for taking the exam, register by February 21st. It'll be, obviously it won't be at one of the locations here, it'll be at NAB in Las Vegas. We are also still kind of trying to turn up somebody that can take all of the recordings that we've done. We've recorded every meeting since the pandemic started. A few of them have made it out onto YouTube, but we basically need to get caught up. Just, cut the everything before the program starts and everything after the program, put a slide on the front, put a slide on the back, and post it to YouTube. So it's not, I don't think any one of them is too much work, but we have a backlog. William knows a little bit more about what we're doing about it, but if anybody has an interest, email William or myself, and we'll see if we can come up with a plan on how to get there. The meeting tonight is Jeff Welton from Nautel. Those of you who are seeing this, it's IT security in a virtualized world. Our February program is not firmed up yet. We may be doing something with the Media Forward people. But our next planned meeting is March 11th. That's going to be out at the Visitor Center at Goddard Space Flight Center. And here's the program for it. So the Visitor Center will be open from 5 to 9 p.m. Things have changed out at Goddard, so it took a little while to kind of get this thing going. But the Visitor Center will be open from 5 to 9, so you can see what's in the Visitor Center. And I don't know if the gift shop will be open at the same time, because that's actually a different group of people.
Get your NASA mugs and shirts.
Yeah, if you want to get something, get there like either right before the meeting starts or, but they are there. We'll start our Zoom part of the meeting at 6. We'll do our chapter business at 6:30. The program is from 6:45 to 9. And James O'Neill's going to be there, Michael Burrows. It is a lot of NASA video. And of course, NASA TV is gone now. But, they're doing other things. And let's see, it says we're also doing, they did a bunch of research on the Apollo films that were recovered.
Right. Yeah, so that's one of three vignettes we're going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let Fred get into the detail because he actually has it here. Do you want to?
Yeah, so it's 3 little programs on video in the NASA space program, human space video and Apollo with James O'Neill. And then we're going to do media coverage of the solar eclipse last summer. We're going to show how that was put together. And then the third is UHD 4K, the live video network that's running around the planet through the satellites and through all the centers on the International Space Station, how that was put together. Michael Burrows is one of the chief engineers on that. He's here in DC. So that should be a nice meeting.
All right. So that is March. April is going to be, our annual, meeting with the, SBE General Counsel. That'll be a virtual only meeting. And it kind of lets them polish their presentation that they give at NAB. So that's the next few months. There are, that's the April meeting. Now NAB is so early
I was gonna say, is it gonna actually?
that it could be that it's not gonna be, it's almost always before, but because of where NAB is this
Might be
time,
after.
they will have already given it.
So their NAB talk is actually we practice for talking to us, which is good, because we have a high standard.
Yeah, that's actually April 1. According to the list that I have. Okay, so we got the past exams, which I already talked about, Devin and William. We have 4 new members since the last meeting. Dana Swan, Cleveland Wedderburn, Lonnie Persley, and Jasmine Henderson. And he also wants me to remember that our event sponsor is Jeff Welton from Nautel,
Well, this is nice food here.
who also sponsored the food at the meeting. And we also have a sponsor that is basically paying the cost to run, you know, the website and all that stuff, the technical costs. Jeff Williams at Yellow Tech is doing it, and he's been, you know, is he on for a year or 6 months or?
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, so, thanks to Yellow Tech for that. I did get a note from, and I know Jeff is gonna talk about this too, but I did get a note from Dan Ryson, letting me know that, there was an incident, the Gates Air Regional Sales Guy, Brian Suzik, had a house fire. He is fine, his wife is fine, their pets are fine, but their home is not. So there is a GoFundMe. I think you can find. I just put the link in the chat. Okay, the link is in the chat. There's also some information at the SBE22.org website. We have not updated our site, but I'm sure we'll link it when William gets back to town. But that's, you know, help out the community. I'm sure there's also plenty of people that are in California that need our help too, but I really don't know which ones, because we're a little too far from California. But I'm sure National will have a lot of information. So that was all the notes that I had. We used to go around the room and tell everybody who we are, but I don't know that I see anybody here that probably doesn't know each other. Devin just passed his exam, so he's kind of new.
Yeah, wait, so the camera. Yeah.
And, let's see. I'm not sure about you.
You can introduce yourself.
I'm Keith Best. I work at Nat Geo.
With your,
You're over at you, okay.
and we're gonna try to recruit you for something. You probably know that.
But when we started doing the virtual meetings, we had people doing their introductions, and we had so many people coming in because the virtual was possible, that the introductions took half an hour, so we stopped doing them.
I'll bet you everybody there knows everybody on there.
Yeah, I don't see too many unfamiliar names.
Yeah, well, James O'Neill just popped in. He's one of the ones that's.
And Andy Butler's here too,
Yeah,
so
and
welcome Andy and James.
James is one of the ones that's gonna do one of the presentations at Nessa Goddard. So, welcome, James.
So I
got a couple.
You got a
couple of
few,
them.
and then if you can pass it across to.
Yeah, Jeff and I are putting together the Ennis workshop at NAB. It's the 2 days before the show floor opens. He's doing RF 101. I'm doing media over IP. 2-day workshop, $289 all day, includes all your meals.
Stop. Did you write?
$289.
Okay.
That's the last I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got tweaked to here from last year.
It's a little
Yeah, I
bit.
know. I just wasn't sure if it got tweaked more.
No, we're gonna keep it
Because, you know,
$289.
the announcement came out today about.
Right, no, this had been tweaked before.
This was tweaked. It was $259 last year. It's
Yeah, I know
$289.
that.
Yeah, so it's You got anybody that has an IT background that wants to know about RF? This is a great program. It gets you up and running in about 2 days. And people that are doing RF and they want to know more about streaming, IP, networking. We have a great program. It's all new. We went last year, 2% new. So, I think, David, did you say the NABshow.org is open now?
I think.
Yeah.
Registration open
The
today.
registration open today.
Expect the engineering program to be online next week.
Okay, so the engineering program will be next week.
Tried to get it online. Coincident with registration opening, but it
Yeah.
didn't quite happen.
So Ennis is part of NAB. You got to register through NAB. If you register for Ennis, you get a discount on the, I think it's called. What's it called? And full conference. You
Yeah,
get a
it used to
discount.
be Flex Pass. but I
Flex
think
Pass
it's
or full conference, you get a discount on that. And you get show floor. So,
You can watch the TV.
yeah. So, it's, Friday and Saturday, 2 days before the show floor opens. And 2 local announcements. Machi Akman, who's an SBE member and the, running the local SMT chapter. Going to talk about Media Forward and a huge event we have coming locally here in, May.
Yeah, I did just note, I'm gonna pitch it to you in a second. SB posted today, I think it's been up for a while, that there is a webinar on January 16th, so 2 days from now, on FAA notifications and filings. So go to SBE.org. You can probably there's probably still time to sign up for it. And if you're I think if you're in SBE Plus, you can also, join it for no extra cost and watch it online afterwards. And unfortunately, I don't want to just drive around, but SBE did also just get a new executive director.
Yes, he just took office a couple days,
January 6th.
January 6th. Okay,
I've already had a few meetings with him. Great guy. He's gonna be great for
okay,
the organization.
okay.
Probably the only other thing I would say that we need to make sure is that everybody saw dues and fees increase announcement today.
Yeah.
Going forward, I know.
Yeah. Fees have
Everybody,
been
we're-
held where they are for like 6 or 7 years.
It's been a while.
And really,
we were waiting.
We're not going up. any more than we have to, but we really have to keep up with costs and, we don't want to lose money. So we're just trying to break even. So a couple local announcements. As you may know, SMT and SBE in this market collaborate quite a bit. About half of our meetings are one or the other. So the February and the May meetings are mainly SMT meetings that SBE is being a part of. So any more news on
So if I may,
Stand up.
stand over here because the mic's here.
my gosh. There it is.
Talk to the owl.
All right.
Step to the hour.
I
Jake.
stood up. So, hello, Owl. Hello, everybody else. So I'm SMT DC section chair and also SBE member. So it's just like the hair club for men. I'm not only a president, but I'm a member too. So best of two worlds. We have a couple of events coming up that I think everybody should be interested in participating. So first one, February 27th, is Media Forward. It's a program that started a few years ago by late Peter Welton, whom I believe some of you might have known. It basically involves students at local colleges and universities, basically be in touch with the professionals in the industry, in the broadcast industry. And a lot of these people have very theoretical exposure, but once a year they have a chance to meet with people in the industry and learn from them, find some mentors, internships, and find friendships for that last for years. We've been doing this at Montgomery College in Maryland, Montgomery County, because we have SMT has a student chapter that was started a few years ago. We can continue the tradition. And February 27 will be that day when we will have professionals come out and talk to students. There are between 20 and 50 students who show up. And what we are looking for is basically for entities, individuals who can come out on that day and help students understand the business that we are in, and also sponsor if possible. So what I would ask is that those who are here, if you're interested in being involved with this program, please see me afterwards.
And this is February 22nd.
February 27th.
27th is Thursday. Is this Thursday?
Correct.
Okay.
It will be Thursday, 27th. So that is one thing. And also, since I mentioned Peter Welton, Peter Welton has run Bits by the Bay for many, many years out of Chesapeake Beach. After a few years of no conference, we're really working hard to bring that back on May 21st and May 22nd. Also, Chesapeake Beach. There's more information coming. I'll be honest with you. We're in the process of negotiating space with the owners of the facility that has been basically expanding for the past few years. So we're not posting anything yet, but we have a pretty interesting program from fractional frame rates to 2110 to media over IP,
HDR.
variety HDR, AI also, bringing people from Deloitte talking about that, who've been at the forefront of this effort. So it will be quite an interesting program. So please look out, and
Yeah,
there will be more
support this if you
information
can.
coming.
Yeah.
And it used to be done exclusively by SMT-DC section. Now, as Fred pointed out correctly, there are a lot of us collaborating here locally, and I think this is really paying dividends. We're coming up with great ideas, and a lot of people are attending from SBE, SMT, and also outside of these both organizations. So I think that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards.
I have one other thing for the
Great,
folks
thank you.
who are in the room with us tonight. Up at the corner of this table, and also sitting right here, which I'll pass around, there's a QR code that when you go to this place, you can fill in your name and your affiliation and everything, which is the same as filling in the sign-in sheet, except if you, this way, we don't have to read your handwriting. So,
No, I can't tell who it is. Doesn't sound like Fred.
I think they're just.
it's Eric. So if you're on the remote, we have your information from when you registered for the Zoom. But if you're here in person, please I'll pass this around so you can use your smartphone to do it. And there's also a printed form if you feel that that's what you want to do. And there's a second page, same QR code up here on the corner.
I think that's Cindy we hear.
It is. All right, so if you want to do it this way, we'll just run this. But we want to make sure we know who's here, because that's actually how SBE National.
Who's phone is that? Is that on our site?
We were successful.
Is that on-
Yeah, William put it up on our site.
Yes, it's a nice form. I
So it's,
admired it until tonight.
it came based on the on the
Difficulty.
printed form, but he noticed, we're trying to improve some things, and one of the things that we noticed is that we usually cannot use these. So I can carry that down to the other table if you want.
What you're saying is engineers write like lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More and more so.
We know how many people were there because somebody scratched on the page, but if we actually have to email you or something, we have to be able to read it.
Great.
So
Great
thanks to
turnout.
all, and if
Thank you.
if you can't or don't want to do that, there's a printed form up here. I think that is most of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, that's good. And
All right.
Jeff is making a big whirlwind tour of the East Coast, and we are one of many visits on this stop. You're off to New York tomorrow? Or
No, Boston.
Boston.
Boston and Hartford and then New York.
then New York, okay, and we're in the middle of the whirlwind tour.
If I keep moving, they'll never know where to send the pink slip.
Yeah. So thanks for traveling down, thanks for buying the food, thanks for showing up on a cold, pre-inauguration day, those of you that are involved with this every 4-year fiasco here in DC.
See, that's the cool thing about our system. We just elect a party, they appoint a leader, that's prime minister. Oh, we got a new one. Cool, whatever.
Yeah. Too much pomp and circumstance.
That's it.
All right, that's all we got, thanks.
All right, I'm gonna start, or I'm gonna take over, or you're gonna tell me not to.
I'm just pointing the camera at you.
Oh,
So
don't do that.
where are you? All
And I'm gonna stand up because can't sit still.
right, so Jeff, proceed.
So before I start the presentation, I am gonna put on my board of directors hat and give you a little, so I'm on the SBE National Board, along with Fred and a dozen other people and
Jay.
and every,
Oh, that's right, you're an employee. Yeah.
every year we have an
The
election.
contract.
And the reason I'm bringing this up, because I'm chair of the nominations committee, we've got one officer position to fill and at least one board position, depending on who decides to rerun. So if anybody has an interest in running for the national board, send me an email.
It's fun.
All right, it is actually, and I mean, it's minimal in-person requirement.
How's the pay?
What's that?
How's the pay?
Well, what I'm getting for this. Yeah, no, the pay sucks. The hours are terrible. You'll love it.
It's a year.
It's like working in broadcast. Yeah.
And Jeff wrote me in yesterday to serve on his committee, so.
Yeah.
Reach out to me as well, and I've got.
Well, now I'm gonna quantify that.
Yeah, that's correct.
So my list of committee members has been substituted to the executive. It has to be approved first. So we don't officially have a committee. But I mean, if they turn RJ down, then I don't know, I'll throw my hat. in.
I was gonna say, I've been on the board or in this role that I'm in since 2001.
Sooner or later, we're gonna sucker him into leading the thing. But there you go.
I was supposed to, and then I stepped aside to take this role.
So Hal's got a note that the February HF, chapter 73, the radio net of the air is Sunday, February 19th. 14.205 megahertz plus or minus 5 kilohertz, 2400 Zulu. Hope to see you there. So that's in your chat. Anybody online can read that. All right, so IT security is one of those weird things, and I want to give a shout out for the for that audio and video production course. Some people kind of growled about it because there's nothing really about broadcasting called it the webcast course. But now you're getting people who are in audio video production. What better world? I mean, we can teach you RF. You know, like I was telling David earlier, the only difference between audio and RF is the size of the spark. Yeah. And anyway, so just like I say, anything you don't know is something that's worth learning. So my background is RF, 100% RF. I came to Nautel 34 years ago. Spent almost 35 now. Spent 17 years doing field service and tech support all over the planet. They said I talk too much and I should start selling stuff. So since 2007, I've been doing sales. I still install the occasional transmitter. I still repair the occasional transmitter. The only difference is now I get to choose where I go and when I go there, which makes it a whole lot more fun. I work with folks like Rob on a regular basis. We do similar type presentations. Bunch of folks I know in the room and on there. Guy in Baltimore today, he remembered our first call together from 1993.
Wow.
Oh, shush. Yeah. You were like, what, 5 then? If
No.
shush, just let's not go. All right. So the reason I mention all that is because I'm old, my background is RF, and I got drug into IT kicking and screaming. Okay, I know when I started at Nautel, our entire network was an 8086 and an 8088 connected with a piece of RG213 running Lantastic. That was the entire company network. Ran on this lovely platform called DOS. We did an incremental backup with our Bangor office once a week. It took an hour over a 2400 baud modem, and if somebody dialed my extension during that update, we started again. There were days when that was a 6-hour process. Okay, so that's where I started. Then it was stringing Cat 1 and Cat 3 cable through the rafters at our head office and hooking up a Nautel network. That was fun. And back then it was state of the art. Now it's all Windows Server and Linux servers and Unix servers, and I'm totally out of it now. So they said, well, you don't do it, you might as well teach it. Makes sense to me. So here we are. Now, if I can, there, this perfect. Takes me a click to get started. Anybody here work with Sinclair? Because if you are, I'll click by this one really fast. More and more when it comes to ransomware, and this was just a quick Google search on broadcaster ransomware. And more, it's not a matter of if you get attacked by it, it's a matter of when and how much it hurts to recover. Okay, and I mean, I'll give you an example. KQED on the West Coast, San Francisco, one of the bigger public radio stations in the country, right up there with the WTOP. Well, there's a couple over here. Y'all got some big public radio here too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so KQED got hit 2016 by ransomware. Ignore that slide. The slides are there so you don't have to look at me. Y'all running remotely and it's all in front of you while you're host. But so KQED got hit by ransomware in 2016. Took them roughly 3 years to completely recover. Total cost was close to $1.6 million. The really cool thing about it is they put it up as a learning experience. And I know you've seen Dan's presentation at PREC. You can Google KQED and ransomware and find their engineering blogs where they outline the entire process. And it is an amazing, eye-opening, and somewhat terrifying experience to read. I had a local station in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, on the other end of the spectrum, little Singleton commercial station, got hit by ransomware. That's where I discovered something. When you get hit by ransomware, the first thing the hacker does is sell all of your data to the next hacker in line, who buys it, compromises it with his own ransomware, and then sends it to the next hacker in line. They were layered 3 layers of ransomware, 3 different layers of encryption on all their files, and it got into their automation system. Think about that for a little bit. All of your content, 3 layers of encryption. Now you've got to decrypt it in the right sequence, or all you do is screw it up even more. So you got 2 options. You have a recovery or you pay the ransom. 50 to 75% of the time, the recovery will fail. Because A, somebody will format this and plug it in, and then something over there that's still infected will come right back and infect it again. B, your backup was already connected, so it was encrypted along with everything else. So we'll talk about that as we go too. All right, I've got the chat open, by the way, so if anybody remotely, you can either open your mic and break in or just type it in the chat. I'll glance at it here or there. So just for what it's worth, and Hal's mentioning Windows for Work groups as a networking thing in the chat if you really want to terrify yourself. So this is actually, let's skip back one. This is a week in my home network. I run a mesh network at the house. On average, I've got about 20 Linux devices and up to a dozen Windows devices running at any given time. We're almost fully automated house. My wife wakes up in the morning. She gets up first every day, walks into the bathroom, says, Alexa, good morning. The coffee maker starts, all the coffee bar kitchen lights turn on, and Alexa reads her the weather report in the bathroom or wherever room she happens to be when she says good morning. It's just, we've automated almost everything. The thermostat is wired in. It's all voice command. On the rare occasion, my Samsung TV will turn itself on for no apparent reason. If you look at that number, let's see if this laser will work on that screen. Sometimes they do, no, not on this one. On the left, scans. on average, that's a good week. 280,000 port scans on my mesh network. 1,863 active intrusion attempts. This was people going beyond scanning to actually trying to get through the firewall that were blocked. Now, here's the other thing. This is how cocky I am. That's my home IP address. Feel free to try to get into it. Because I put that challenge up. So far, nobody's managed. That's what you'll find if you scan it. Or that should be what you find unless my teenager's done something untoward with my network. And I worry about that because the teenager's smarter than me when it comes to this stuff. He has lived this in his entire life. Like I said, I got drug into it kicking and screaming. So that's an average week on my home network in the middle of the woods in a tiny town of 500 people in absolute nowhere, Nova Scotia. Okay, just as an example. By the way, Shodan, you'll see more of that, like right here. My favorite Internet of Things search engine, Shodan.io, SHODAN.io. If you put that in, so if you search Nautel, last time I searched Nautel on Shodan, I found 14 transmitters. Actually, I found 12 transmitters, one honeypot that our IT department keeps up just to justify their paychecks, because they can take it to senior management, go, this is how many times we would have been attacked if we weren't here protecting you. It's smart.
You're answering pings.
What's that?
You're answering pings.
There you go. Yep, I will answer a ping. So can't keep records like this if I don't have the ability to record what's happening. So anyway, so Nautel, 14 transmitters, there's 3 Maxeva transmitters on there for the TV folks. A word of caution, especially because the recording's on and the mics are open. Looking to see what's visible out there, 100% totally perfectly legal. Accessing it, not so much. Okay, unless it's your own gear, don't try to access it. If it is your own gear, feel free. So I make it a point once a month, at least, sometimes more often, depends how often I do this particular presentation. I see how many Nautel transmitters online I can log into. There's 4 on the air. I accessed them from wherever I was. On one of them, I was sitting on a train somewhere between here and New York City. Logged into a transmitter. Once I'm logged in, I've got the ability to change the preset. I can change the audio source. If it's a transmitter equipped with streaming capabilities, I can set a new stream source to whatever I want, which may or may not be compliant with what the FCC approves. And then I can assign a password and lock you out of your own gear. At that point, your only recourse is to unplug it and reformat and start from scratch. Okay, don't be the person that I find when I do these, because you will get a nasty email that says, hey, dummy. By the way, talked about our IT folks justifying their jobs with their honeypot. One of the other things they do is test our staff. They send out periodic phishing emails. And if you click on the link in the email, they get a little red screen up, and then you get another email that immediately follows that says, here's a link to the PowerPoint you need to view on IT security, and don't click that link, dummy. I may or may not be a 2-time graduate of the don't click that link, dummy PowerPoint school. But it's the kind of thing, education is key, and we will talk about this more and more. For reference, 85% of malware attacks in 2024 were the result of somebody clicking the link or opening an attachment. If you send a transmitter order, I've had $1 million orders come into the company. All of our orders, our quotes are written on PDF. So people print them, sign them, scan them, send us a PDF back. 100% of those are blocked. Absolutely no PDFs go through our email server. They all stop at IT, and somebody manually releases them every day, several times a day. That's somebody, we got one guy, his only job is scanning thousands of emails a day to make sure those PDFs are valid. Okay, docx files, even better. PPTX, any attachment at all, pretty much these days. But especially if it's a zip file, you send me something in a zip file, I can promise you that it will never, ever, ever be unzipped ever. It doesn't even make it to me. It's deleted way before that happens. I had a guy call me one day, he goes, why didn't you answer my email? What email? Well, I sent you an email. Well, I didn't get it. Send it again. I sent it. No, I didn't get it. Send it again. This time copy my Hotmail. He sends it to my Hotmail. My Hotmail is my junk account. The one that I send everything to. I look at it and there's a zip file attached and I said, are you daft? I may have been a little less tactful, but I wasn't recording at the time. Yeah, don't do that. Everything out there.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
So if I want to send someone a docx file, go into OneDrive and I'll create a link
Yeah,
and I'll send them the link.
right.
Is that okay?
So if you do that for me, if you call me on the phone or reach out through Teams and say, or text me and say, I'm sending you a file or a link, then when I get that email, I'll click on the link. If I don't have that phone call first, when I get that email, I'll call you back and say, hey, did you send this? And I've done that half a dozen times. If I get a link or an attachment and I wasn't expecting it, and it's not.
Just as risky?
Absolutely is. Yeah, no, because a link, unless even, so I'll give you an example. I can't really do it here easily, but we're a Sophos facility. So they always used to say you could hover over the link to see that it resolved to what it said it should resolve to. Well, if you're running Sophos or FortiClient or Palo Alto or any of those software protection utilities, when you hover over it, you'll have a 85,000 character prefix there. You got no idea what the title is. So yeah, always, 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 if you get a link or an email, unless you already been contacted to tell you to expect it, then you pick up the phone or send a text or Teams message. And I mean, we do it in-house. Our front desk lady, Natalia will always, every time I get postal mail in, because she knows I work remote, she scans it, sends me a PDF. She's trained now, because then she pings me in Teams and says, I just scanned an email and sent it to you as a PDF. Here's the file name. And I mean, because the first time she did it, I pinged her back and said, Natalia, did you just send me this? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool, thanks. All right.
Thank you.
So we have gone to 100% zero trust. We're 100% zero trust because people keep screwing shit up. All right. Oh, this one was just to show you, even the cheapest Walmart TP-Link router out there, you can get VPN capabilities on it and different levels of protection. Somebody mentioned Barracks earlier. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Newsom, search for Barracks on Showdown. This is my own, by the way, just before anybody starts telling me that I'm a hypocrite, which I am, but that's beside the point. The problem is, up until 2017, the default username and password on Barracks was absolutely nothing at all. If you had the IP address, you had access until somebody assigned a username and password. I can't tell you how many of those are being used as station STLs. My station uses one. I can tell you how many of them are using them with, let's see, do I have that back here? Yeah, Barracks. 1,434. Those were a week or so ago. Of those, 800 some odd are here in the US. The others are around the world. Now, that doesn't mean they're all using default usernames and passwords. It's just that's how many are visible. If it's visible, it's a target. Okay, if I can see it, I'm going to want to attack it if I'm that kind of person. Okay, here's a prime example. I was searching Nautel, found a Nautel transmitter. But because it was being resolved through a remote control unit and there was port forwarding, check all the other ports associated, Nautel transmitter, Barracks STL, Innovonics RDS encoder, TP-Link gigabit router. At this point, I can control your frequency, your power level, your audio source, what's displayed on the dashboard of the cars that are going through your coverage area, and then I can lock you out of your whole damn network. Until somebody goes and pulls the plug.
It's on a ramp. Yeah.
So this is the stuff we need to do better. Used to be, a million years ago, port forwarding was the solution. You just ran everything into a router, port forwarded all. Yay, we're safe. No, not even close. And it used to be, they always said, you know, 8 character, 12 character password. Do you know how long it takes to crack a 12 character alphabetic password with no numbers, letters, or no numbers or odd characters? That time is measured in seconds. Okay, it's unbelievable how much, well, Moore's law, right? Computing power doubles every year. And that's not changed recently. So here's one I found online, tried to, oh, by the way, on the VX, our low power FMs now, default password, change me. We thought going passive aggressive would help. Do you know how many are out there with the default password? Well, 4 that I've showed on that earlier slide. So here's an example of folks at least blocking the default password. But again, still visible, subject to a brute force login. Do you think they have 24 character alphanumeric with special character passwords? I can almost guarantee you they probably don't. I could be wrong. But again, if it's visible, then it's a target. Forgot to hit go on my timer, so we're just going to go until I run out of steam. Or till you kick me out. One other thing, there's a lot of talk about here and there. You hear Kirk Harnack does an amazing topic about containerization. And I mean, it's geared toward Telos because that's who Kirk works for. But so you hear a lot of talk about virtual machines, virtualization and containers and Dockers. The only real difference is where the OS lives. Okay, in a containerized machine, the operating system lives in the host computer and every container works off of that OS. In a virtual machine, every application, every virtualized device has its own OS. That's very powerful because you could run Windows, Linux, Unix, whatever your choice, OS X, all on the same device. It's very dangerous because all of these things have different security requirements. So if you're running, how many people run a VMware on a machine somewhere? More than a couple. You need to be careful when you're running virtual machines to be sure that you're establishing protection for all OSs that you're using. You people used to say, well, we run Linux, it's secure. 2023, 53% of the malware detected and reported was aimed at Linux devices. 2023 was the year Windows or Linux passed Windows for malware attempts. Linux is now less secure than Windows in that regard, as far as being a target, just for what it's worth. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I run a good combination of both. My favorite operating system at the moment is Zorin. It's a Linux OS that runs on Ubuntu, but it gives me a Windows style desktop. So I've got familiarity. I've got something that's easy to configure. I love it. But I don't fool myself into believing it's 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Okay, you used to hear a lot of people, oh, Apple computers, nobody tries to hack Apple. Yeah, they do. I don't care whose brand is on the front. Somebody out there is trying to figure out a way to compromise it. Sales pitch thing, let's get past that. This is part of a talk about the virtualization we do with our HD gear. If anybody wants to after, we'll go back and talk about that. But I'd suck at sales pitches, so we'll just skip it. So what do you do when you're trying to protect a network? Well, the first thing you need to know is what the hell you've got and document it. And how do you do that? Well, physical layer, that's pretty easy. That's Visio, that's mapping. This is eDraw. You can use whatever you like, but document it. It's the same thing with the hardware in your studio, in your facility like this. I'm sure somewhere around here, there's a network map that somebody knows what connects where. Nobody just guesses about this stuff. You got to document it. Here's the catch. I'm old and forgetful. And I've got 85,000 apps and each one of them requires a special unique password. And some of them say, change this password every 3 months. And 8 months later, I'll go to log into this app. What the hell is that password? So I go into my password keeper app where I keep all this stuff because, hey, document. Whoops, that was 3 passwords ago. Document and update. When you change something, update the documentation as well. Okay, this is what Rhode Island Public Radio does. Aaron Reed, he just recently left the public radio, but he uses spreadsheets. You notice I'm sure he's thankful for that. I blocked out his IP addresses because I was feeling super generous that day, yes. So he just writes down the physical location and he writes down all the IPs and subdomains, any domain name servers they may be tied to. And it just gives him a map of what is where. Okay, that's his way of doing it. Like I said, for me, I'm more of a box line kind of guy. That's how I work. So I use eSlide a lot. This is the Nautel network map. Yes, it's very small. No, you cannot read it. And yes, it's blurred on purpose. And no, that one I won't show you the IP addresses because somebody bigger than me would yell. But that's a prime example of a network map. How you do it, totally up to you. Lucid charts. Anybody else play with Lucid charts? So Lucid charts, you can go to their website. It is lucidcharts.com. But Lucid charts is an amazing network mapping tool. The free version lets you do like 100 diagram implements. You know, it might be a line, might be a block, sort of a flow chart type draw or tool, but it's an amazing tool for stuff like this. Okay, after that, you're doing paid. By the way, millions of resources out there. Rhode Island Public Radio, again, while Aaron was there, and I'm not sure if they've still got it up, but I suspect they do. Because the one thing that never gets cleaned up when somebody leaves is their digital footprint. So I'm betting you could still find this. It's just things he's done is he figured out how to do something. He wrote a little blog about it. I mean, the fastest way, the best way to teach somebody how to do something is while you're actually doing it. When we write a field mod, if you get a field upgrade from us or an information sheet or anything like that, know that somebody was standing there doing it while they were proofreading the process. Because you can't write this stuff out of your head. Well, you could. It won't be accurate. Hey, by the way, I meant to put the plug in. We were talking about webinars earlier. There's one coming up on optimizing network infrastructure. End of this month, I think. Wayne Pacina's doing it. Practical approach to broadcast cyber security, January 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern. So this will be one of the slides in it. I stole it from Wayne because I'm like that. Like I said, not just a hypocrite. I'm a, what's the word? I absconded with it anyway.
Plagiarizing.
Thank you. I guess it's not really plagiarizing if I give him credit for it. And I did ask permission ahead of time.
Second research.
But you hear a lot of people talking like I need a layer 2 switch or a layer 3 router. And what the heck is that? Well, it's talking about the OSI model, the layers of the network structure. And basically, as engineers, as IT people, we're responsible for layers 1 through 5. Okay, 6 and 7 are mostly taken at the device and hardware level. So that goes a little beyond. I mean, you're typically not going to worry about what ports are where and stuff like that, except for hooking things up to it. The biggest one, physical access. If somebody can walk up to your computer and it's not locked down, it's not very secure, is it? Like this one, when I got here, the first thing I did, flip the lid open. The first thing it did was bring up a blue screen. Everything we have is BitLocker protected. If you ask me for something on a USB stick, the USB stick I hand you has a passcode assigned because we use BitLocker on our USB sticks. Now, the ones we hand you as a handbook, no, that's all yours. Do with it whatever you will. At that point, it's your problem, not mine. But if you're giving me something, that BitLocker protected, if for no other reason than it gives us a tracking path. So we use BitLocker on everything. So I open it up, I get BitLocker, life is grand. I get into that, now I've got to type in the whatever number password, I think about 16 characters is what I'm at now. And then I can get into my email, assuming I can remember the password for that. That's how I start my day every day. If I step away from the computer for more than 30 seconds, it goes to sleep and I start again. Now, when I'm running a PowerPoint, there's an exception program. So if I was running a PowerPoint, you might sneak into my machine if I go out for a coffee. Okay, physical layer. Okay. Best IT security on the planet is totally useless if some guy can walk right up to your computers.
What's that photo of somebody getting?
That's Crawford Broadcasting. That's some method trying to break into one of their transmitter sites with a sledgehammer on camera. They use, they've got voice activated, so they spoke up, said, hey, and he looks up and they go, thank you for the good picture, and he ran. But yeah, that's just one Crawford security caps. So this is Wayne's list. You'll probably see this on the Jan 30th webinar. I'm giving away all his good tips. But this is his list, and he says those are the essential things. I disagree a little bit, gently. Don't fall into the social engineering trap. Don't click this link. Here's the challenge. You know the best thing about AI? It makes it possible for somebody who's almost inept when it comes to writing a legible letter to say, I won't say this. And it types out a beautifully written letter with no spelling mistakes. That used to be your giveaway that this was spam. Not anymore. I am getting emails that are so perfectly written. I, on average, refer at least one email a month to IT to verify legitimacy before I'll click on the link or coming back to what you were saying.
I mean, because it's so well written.
So well written and so legitimate looking. I get on average 3 invoice emails a week, and 1 out of the 3 will almost sucker me in because it'll be from somebody I deal with. Well, until I actually do the root analysis of their email address. But if you look at the from, it's like from Fred. Oh, cool. What's Fred sending me an invoice for? Must have been for that SBE meeting last week. Check Fred to do the deep dive in the email address. It's not from Fred unless you're sending it from your Russian email address. You might have one of those, but most of my customers don't. So, you know, that's an example.
Yandex.lu.
So like I said, we are zero trust. I've got 2 cell phones. I've got the official Nautel recognized device along with the official Nautel laptop. I've got my personal cell phone. I've got 3 personal laptops. None of my personal devices can be used on an Nautel server. None of my personal devices are able to access my Outlook email. Only a Nautel sanctioned and provisioned device can do that. We're VPN protected from one end to the other. If I'm working on the network, I'm doing it through a VPN. I have no direct access to our network. Now, the caveat with us, and this is where it gets dangerous. I love VPNs. VPNs are the best security we currently have. And they're not bulletproof, but they're the best thing we've got right now. Unless they're a split tunnel VPN. Split tunnel VPN, you've got a secure encrypted path with a side opening out to the public internet that basically bypasses everything. So here's the caveat we've got. That comes back to social engineering and having policies. How many people have actual IT policies within their facility? Yeah, I'm gonna say, David, I would expect, absolutely. And we do as well. And our IT policies, I think we're up to 12 of them now. Every time I turn around, there's a new one. And they just make life, it's a basic rule of thumb, the easier it is for you to do something, the less secure it is. Because the most secure system is one that's in a locked box, unplugged and disconnected from everything. That's the only secure IT device. So we have all these policies and we have all these restrictions. We go a step further. Like if I'm at a Hilton Garden Inn down the road. Well, here, prime example, log into the guest network. Okay, here it required some information to log in. When I get on Amtrak, go to log into the Amtrak Wi-Fi, it's like, hey, welcome aboard, come on in, click accept. It doesn't ask you anything. You go to a hotel, they'll ask you last name, room number. There's some level of data required to get into that Wi-Fi. On Amtrak, not at all. So on Amtrak, I'm not allowed to use our VPN. I cannot access the company infrastructure on an unsecured wireless connection. McDonald's can't do it. Hampton Inn can do it, don't necessarily trust it. Here's something else scary. I learned this one the hard way. Everybody's got one of these things at least. They're a wonderful tool. They have hotspot capability that runs off the cell network. Oh, cool. Now I've got secure Wi-Fi. I can do my banking. I was doing that one day. I turned on the hotspot, logged into my bank. I had a buddy sitting beside me, good friend of mine from Minnesota. You know Alex Hartman?
Alex?
Hartman?
No.
Okay, so Alex Hartman and Philip Schmidt together are crazy scary when it comes to IT.
Oh, yes, I.
Yeah,
He's in Nautel.
yeah, he was for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he still consults with us. Anyway, so Alex is sitting there and he goes, oh, you bank with RBC. I said, how the hell do you know that? He goes, oh, I'm looking at your bank account. Shows me his phone. He had a packet sniffer installed on his phone, sniffing the cell network, decoding all the data I was sending for my theoretically secure cell connection. So I tend to more and more, see if I got the right pocket open. I did. Carry one of these. Prioritized LTE router with encryption. Because if you can't encrypt it to at least 128 bits, it's not secure. That one just comes, the guys at Max Connector friends, so they give me toys and I play with them and life is grand. And it's great for getting by stuff like that. But again, zero trust, no access to anything critical anytime you're not on a known secure network, which more and more these days is becoming less. I have less confidence in public networks than I ever had before. How far did I put? Oh, just that one? Okay, cool. So again, used to be our solution to everything was port forwarding. That's not a solution. Something like that, absolutely the least secure thing you could possibly do. Now, here's the thing, the scary thing. The cheapest $45 TP-Link router that you can buy at Walmart right now has VPN built in. You can turn on a hardware VPN on anything. On my personal device, I use one called TunnelBear. It's a software hosted VPN. I pay a grand total of, I think it's $60 a year for. It's not much. But encrypt everything. Okay, if I'm doing banking, I'm doing it through a VPN.
Wild thoughts.
Exactly.
Okay,
We run into a lot of situations where they'll say, okay, we've got a firewall up. So now we've got a firewall between us and our transmitters. But no firewall, this site and that site.
Is that Cindy? We can hear you.
Rider is too. Heavy metal thunder.
Well, Jane.
Born to be wild.
I muted him.
So it's not enough to have encryption at one end. You need to have the encryption at all ends and between the various branches of the ends. Okay, again, VPNs are cheap. Okay, they are at this point, other than physically disconnecting and shutting everything off, they are pretty much the best chance we've got at security. That and don't click this link dummy. Okay, and like I said, 85% of attacks come from don't click this link dummy. So that's what you want to do. Do not poke holes in it. I think I got a picture of that somewhere, but we'll get to it. And even on your VPN, you need to know what connects where on a regular basis. And this comes back to assigning permissions. As a rule, traffic doesn't necessarily need access to engineering. Engineering doesn't always need access to finance. Finance absolutely doesn't need access to the technical infrastructure, production, and all that stuff. Zero trust. Nobody gets permission to anything unless they absolutely need it. Now, for the guys like me who grew up in the two computers connected with a piece of coax days, when I could log in and see every folder on every hard drive in the entire network, right down to who got paid how much, and they just trusted me not to go look there. That's frustrating as hell. Because now, as an example, I do a lot of webinars. And if I'm doing a webinar, in my office, I've got a Stream Deck. Love my Stream Deck. Anybody else got one of those? Coolest little panel. I've got it set up. I can mute stuff. I can switch cameras. I can turn lights on and off with it. It is amazing. Fun toy. Stream Deck does a lot of updates as they add new features and new things. And it's cool because you get a hardware appliance and they just keep evolving it. Every time they do an update.
Termination.
So I open the IT service ticket. And then I tell the IT guys I need to update this piece of software. They do a remote login into my computer. We use TeamViewer, but whatever. And they do the update for me. That's a challenge when you're not sitting still long enough for them to send you a pink slip. Because I do most of my best work at 3 a.m. Y'all ever seen an IT guy working at 3 a.m.? It happens on an update, but it's not real common. You know, people get into IT because you can work 9 to 5 and not have to carry one of these things on the weekends and evenings. It's a wonderful gig for that. So it's a challenge. So it means that I've had to learn how to kind of reschedule the way I do stuff like that. All right. And that's, again, what it comes down to. How easy is it? How secure is it? The two are inversely proportional. More easy, less secure. Hey, like I said, I gave examples of both hardware and software VPNs. I probably should have that slide back a couple. I'll fix it someday. All right, so pros and cons of both. Like I said, the software is great, but the software VPN is almost always hosted somewhere else. So like with my Tunnel Bear, it's hosted at Tunnel Bear HQ here in the States somewhere, which means that I'm relying on their security. Now, the good thing is, like with ACW, Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft Zoom, or any of the others out there, odds are their security is reasonably tight. Probably much more so than my home network, because they probably don't have any teenagers doing whatever my teenager does when he's streaming on Twitch and playing on Steam. I may be the only 60 plus that you know that has a Twitch account, but anyway. So both have their benefits, pros and cons. You have to figure out what you want to do, but more than anything, educate. Okay, the education is the thing. Teach people that if they get a link or an email and they weren't expecting, nobody called them and said, I'm sending you this email with this attachment. Don't click on the attachment ever. Call the person, text them, send them a separate email from whatever. Up to you what you do. Don't hit reply to the email and say, did you send this? Because I guarantee you, whoever did send it will say, absolutely, I did. We've had that. See, these rules all happen. These recommendations all happen because somebody did it. We had a situation 5 or 6 years ago. She's no longer with us as an employee. One of their secretaries clicked on a link and very dutifully sent a spam email to roughly 5,000 of our customers. Everybody in our Outlook database. Guess how many of our customers called us to say, did you guys send this on purpose? None. 6 out of 5,000. Now, of the other 4,994, you can very much assume that some number of them did click that link and sent it out to everybody they knew. You know, a lot of them probably looked at it, said, nah, and deleted it, which is fine. And we did send an apology email and a whole bunch. So if you didn't get one, you weren't on the list. Sorry. For what it's worth, here's a day in my email. Okay, top left. So there's a good example of the older, less eloquently written ones.
Yeah, that looks really suspect.
Yeah. The one on the, well, please advice on the above need, among others. The bottom left one of our engineers downloaded a piece of software. This is the reason we're zero trust now. Downloaded a piece of software to help him do something at his job. And it worked great. Till about 8 months later when the Trojan launched. Wasn't ransomware, was malware.
It's built in.
So we are a Fortinet facility with Sophos. So Fortinet firewalls, Sophos antivirus and malware protection. It isolated his computer from the network in a fraction of a second and then proceeded to wipe it. He called IT and panicked. My screen just went black. IT's sitting there looking at a big red screen going, yeah, we know. Let me send you a PowerPoint video that when we reformat your computer, you'll be able to watch. Okay, that's the reason. I mean, like everything else, what do they say? We always close the door after the horse has left the barn. It's the way it works every single time. This is me trying to close the door while the horse is still home. Okay, the two on the right, another example. Yeah, I get that that password one. This one's purportedly from my Outlook email. I get them from accounts receivable at Nautel.com on a regular basis, AR at Nautel. That's our own accounting email. That is a valid email address. I get the sign in to view your fax document. I still get those once a month. When's the last time y'all got a fax? Been a day or three. I had a customer ask me if he could send me a fax about 2 months ago. It's the first time I've heard from one, a requirement, 5 years at least. I said, no. He goes, well, I don't know what to do. I said, do you own a cell phone? He goes, yeah. I said, take pictures and send me the pictures. So I did. He just sent me 17 JPEGs, 17 different emails. Okay. Steve Poole with Crawford Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. Well, Crawford's based out of Denver, but Stephen's out of Birmingham. Stephen is a Linux guru. He is brilliant, and he will be the first to tell you that Linux is no more, like I said earlier, 2023 was the year that Linux passed Windows for malware. But no, there's nothing secure anymore. If it's not behind a VPN and firewall, protected and invisible and encrypted, there's nothing. Pi-hole is tied to, I forget what application, some of you may have heard of it. I like it because it's a really cool network reporting tool. How many people here have used Wireshark? Love Wireshark. Wireshark will give you a mind-numbing amount of information about your network. It takes more time to learn how to cull the data down into useful bits and bytes than it does to get it all. Funny thing, what I've discovered running Wireshark on my home network, and again, like I said, if I'm going to teach it, I'm going to at least try to pretend to study it here and there. So like I said earlier, my house is 100% automated almost. I'm working on it. The last few things will be done. If I could teach the damn dishwasher to load itself, I'd be good. That hasn't been done yet. It's coming. It is. It's going to be some robotics required there. Fortunately, we have a 15-year-old, so you know that part's pretty easy. He growls, but he does the work. Anyway, so fully automated house. I've got an Ecobee thermostat. I've got at least 24 Alexa devices. I've got Casa power strips, Miros automated IT power outlets. I've got Hue lights. I've got various other IT-oriented lights. You don't run an AM radio in my house because the noise floor is up here somewhere. And all my lights are LEDs, so it's even worse. So I've got all that. I've got 2 cell phones. My wife has a cell phone. The boy has a cell phone. We've got between the 3 of us about a dozen laptops in various stages of functionality. The 2 things in the house that call home on a regular basis, home not being my home, the Ecobee thermostat, for some odd reason, the manufacturers post the actual controls offsite. So every time you change the temperature reading, it sends the data offsite, gets the command back and adjusts the thermostat. Not that big a deal. I know where it's going. I know what it's doing. The Wise camera in my entryway constantly sends all of its data because it's all hosted at Wise's head office in Chengdu, China. So somebody in China has perfect view of my dirty ass carport. Good for them. The other thing that calls home on a regular basis, every time you speak near one of these things, it's sending data home. Okay, you ever wonder why you have a conversation about RVs with a buddy, and next thing you know, your phone buzzes with a Facebook message about an ad for an RV at Marketplace?
Yeah.
The Google, and so I'm an anti-Apple person. I've said this over and over. I got this phone company standardized on them 2.5 years ago. I hate the thing. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Not because of anything to do with the phone, because I'm old and I'm set in my ways and I've lived Android for my entire life. It's what I know. Having said that, the Apple calls home a lot less than the Samsung does, for what it's worth. So again, monitor, what do they say? Trust but verify? Yeah, well, don't trust and still verify. Okay? So those are your big things. And you've all heard the variations, good, fast, cheap, pick two. Well, it's the same when you're building firewalls and IT protection. Easy, cheap, reliable. You can have two, maybe. You're not getting three. Okay, that little link at the bottom, CBT Nuggets, is a great tool for people that have gotten drug into IT kicking and screaming and don't know a lot about it, because they break it down into words that simpletons like me can understand. So I love CBT Nuggets. It's just a learning tool. It's, if I'll go there and look for something before I'll Google the answer. Okay, online information. We do a lot of webinars. As you can tell, I suck at sales, but I do all our webinars, so we don't get a lot of sales webinars. We do the occasional Nautel product webinar. You'll find those there. We all do something we call TTT, Transmission Talk Tuesday. William's been on mine a couple of times, and he's attended several of them. So he can, when he listens to the recording, he'll know I give him credit. But the TTTs, I make it a point, they're geared to be very much not Nautel specific. I pick a topic. We're starting them again. We took a break through 2024 as I learned to deal with the East Coast, because y'all got traffic and stuff that I just never had to deal with anywhere in the central US. And so as I learned how to deal with that, we took a break, but we're starting them again on the 21st, next Tuesday. And we're talking about soldering, solder skills. Seemed like a fun topic. I got Burley Stately from Blanchard River Broadcasting in Columbus, Ohio. We're going to talk solder skills and what should be in your toolbox. So the TTTs, you go to the webinars archive, you can find all those. We've talked about everything over the years. What do you have in your toolbox? IT security, transmitter site hardening, studio stuff, whatever I have to think about. So there's the, I think that's Mark guy in the corner there. David's been on one of them, at least one, talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not in 2024, no.
No, well, I didn't do any in 20. So it wasn't that I was ignoring you, I ignored the world. But anyway, so a lot of web or different resources out there. I mentioned Barry Michigan's BDR.net. He's got some pretty good email list servers there that I subscribe to. Now, you'll almost never see me reply to anything, because more and more between email list servers and Facebook groups, I've discovered that if you reply to anything, you're going to have 15 people that have never touched a soldering iron telling you why you're wrong. So if I reply to something at all, it'll just be like, that's not right. Here's why, but not too often. All right, that's it in a nutshell.